First of all, what does that mean, a dominatrix?
Well, I mean, I guess the simplest way to put it is a woman who is an alpha female. Like you teach men to be alpha males, I teach women to be alpha females. So it's a woman that is in charge of herself and her sexuality and kind of does and sort of runs the show. Boss lady.
And so, does it mean like those ladies who beat weak men, like they're on their
We
knees?
beat all
they
kinds
have
of men, but it's not always just beating, it's other things.
Like what?
Oh, any number of things. Not all S&M is about pain. There's, fantasy role play, but I mean, certainly there's, bondage, tease and denial, CBT, fantasy role play, all kinds of different things you can do.
What is DBT?
CBT.
What is CBT?
Ooh, I don't know if I can say that on this show.
Oh, it's something nasty?
It's nasty.
Oh, amazing. And so you've been doing this for 30 years.
Yes.
And you were walking down the road, and one day you decide, let me go and be a dominatrix. Am I saying it right? Dominatrix?
Dominatrix.
Okay. You walking down the road, and you decide, my calling is to be a dominatrix.
No, I didn't realize it was my calling right away. I got into it in the beginning because I was an entrepreneur and I had a small business I was trying to raise money for, and being a dominatrix was the only kind of work in the sex industry that didn't actually involve sex, where you didn't have to have any sex with them.
Oh.
So that's how I, sort of fell into it. So initially my intentions were financial, but after about 5 years, I realized this is my calling, this is what I want to do.
And when you say it's your calling, is it a calling from God, or what do you mean it's your calling?
I think so.
You think God would want you to do this?
Yes.
And why? What the?
I thought you were going to ask me if men are going to be if we're in a fallen state.
Oh yeah, we get to that. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Why would God have you do that?
Let's see. Why would God have me do that? Because I am a descendant of Lilith, and so it is my natural state to dominate men. That's my natural state.
Really?
I'm not descendant of Eve. I'm descendant of Lilith.
And who is Lilith?
She was the first woman.
Oh, you mean Eve?
Before Eve.
Oh, before Eve.
Yeah.
Oh, you're descended from her.
Correct.
Oh. Are you a Christian?
No, I'm Jewish.
You're Jewish. And do you believe that human beings are in a fallen state?
Yes.
And what does that mean to be in a fallen state?
To be in a fallen state, I mean, if I'm talking from a Jewish perspective, it's sin is what separates you from the light, and the light is God. So any deeds that you do that separate you from the light of God are sin.
And so, okay, and so you believe, why would God have you degrade men like that?
Well, it's not always degradation, because men are naughty and they need to be corrected.
By mommy?
Sometimes by mommy, but not always.
Do you enjoy doing this?
Oh, I love it.
You love it. What do you love about it?
I love the endorphins. I love the adrenaline rush. What I do is therapeutic for a lot of people. So there's sort of a sense of helping people. I like helping people therapeutically. But mostly, mostly what I do right now is I teach women how to dominate men. That's primarily how I make my living. And that's really what I take the most joy and pleasure from, is teaching other women to dominate men.
Really? Since the man is the head of the woman, he's over the woman, why would God want the man to let a woman dominate him?
Well, that is the fallen state. It's because...
Oh, this only happened in the fallen state.
That's right. Because they're in the story of Genesis, first man is created. They're created side by side first, in Genesis. I think it's 7. You probably know better than
Yeah.
I do. 17:22.
Something like that.
Something like that, right? So that's the story of the creation of. So they're both created of the earth. Both. So originally, man and woman were in an equal relationship, and it is the punishment. It is the fall of man that this has been reversed.
Well, maybe that's in the Jewish religion, but the man came from God, and the woman came from the man, the rib of the man.
No, Eve came from the rib.
Yeah, but I don't know
Lilith
about this.
did not come from.
I've never heard about Lilith at all, so that may be a Jewish thing.
It's Old Testament,
Yeah.
Talmud, Zohar, all that stuff.
Are you married?
I am divorced.
Your boy, did you dominate your husband, your ex?
Not in an S&M sense. I mean, in a sort of like, happy wife, happy life sense.
Right.
He was a very good man. So not in that sense, but I was probably the head of the household, if that's what you're asking.
You were head of your husband?
Yeah.
Amazing. Did you like that?
Yeah.
So is this like a Jewish part of the Jewish establishment or Jewish culture?
Are you talking about S&M or Lilith?
Lilith and the SMM thing and all that.
No, Lilith is part of Jewish mysticism. S&M, is something that exists in about, I would say, 8 to 11% of the population across the board are oriented this way.
Really? So is this lifestyle well known in the Jewish culture because of Lilith?
I don't think most people would be sophisticated enough to make that leap. But yeah, I think it's probably one of the reasons that generally in Jewish culture is matriarchal.
And this is happening because men and women are in a fallen state. That's why
Yes, it's not natural for men to dominate women. That's the fallen state.
it's not natural for women to dominate men.
No, it's the other way. The punishment from God, right?
Right.
Is that Adam is going to dominate Eve. That's the fallen state.
What the fallen state is once Eve disobeyed her husband, because prior to that, when she obeyed her husband and listened to her husband, things were fine. The order was there. But once Eve listened
Lilith
to
was actually the one that tempted Eve. You know the snake in the tree?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the snake
And
you
you
call
see the
Lilith.
snake? And have you seen the image? It's like a snake that's half snake, half woman holding an apple.
I may have seen that around.
Right. That's Lilith.
Oh,
So Lilith,
so
the
Lilith is
reason
the snake.
Lilith was the first woman. And basically what happened is, since they were created equal, both of the earth, okay, and God breathed life into their nostrils, both of the earth, and told them to name all the creatures. When it came time to procreate, Lilith didn't want to procreate the way animals do, right? Because animals do it from behind, right? She wanted to be on top, and Adam said no.
No.
So she left him. And she went and she wandered in by the Dead Seas. And then God saw what happened, and he didn't know what to do. So he put a sleep over Adam, and then he created Lilith of Adam's rib that she would be submissive onto him. She was the second woman.
Is this taught in the Jewish religion? Because I never heard anything like this.
Yeah.
Oh, this is taught in the Jewish religion?
I mean, look, in the Jewish religion, there are Reform, there are Orthodox, there are Hasidic, there are all different sects, right?
Right.
So it isn't taught widely throughout all the sects, but yeah, it's part of, it's part of, the Jewish mysticism, yeah.
So do the Jewish women dominate? When I say dominate, I don't mean put them on their knees and
Yeah.
beat them. But the Jewish women dominate over Jewish men?
Yes,
Really?
yeah. Jewish men are naturally submissive. Wonderful.
Wow, I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
know
yeah,
that.
Yeah,
No wonder you're thinking this way.
yeah.
Because in the Christian world, it's the other way around. The man dominate over the woman, meaning he's the head of the woman, as God is the head of the man.
Is that in the Old Testament or the New Testament?
Both.
Where is it first cited?
Read Genesis.
I've
where
read
the fall
Genesis.
happened, yeah. But it
What
sounds
part
like
of
you
Genesis?
read
What
the
did it say?
Jewish Genesis.
No.
Because I've never read that or heard that.
Well, if you want to
But-
whip it out, I'll show you right where it is.
Well, no, but let me tell you this.
Yeah.
But in the normal religion, in the Christian religion, God is the head of the man, right? Christ is the head. And the man is the head of the woman because she came from the man. Did your mother dominate your father?
Not in the traditional sense. I mean, actually, they had a very conventional marriage, monogamous marriage, married till he passed away tragically. They were very devoted to each other. I forgot what your question was. I started rambling about my parents.
Did your mother dominate your father?
Not in the conventional sense, but in the sort of damsel in distress sense. She was sort of like the helpless female that, you know, he had to do everything for. You know,
Oh, good.
You know.
So how did you get off track?
Oh, I didn't get off track. I just did it a different way. She was still dominating him. He still did everything for her. You know, he went to work, came home, put the money in the bank, could let her do whatever she wanted. That's how it is.
I mean, do you have kids?
No, I didn't have kids.
And why not?
Well, it just didn't come together. I wanted to make sure if I had kids that I was, financially secure enough and that I could provide them with the kind of, I'm actually more traditional than you'd think. Like I would want to have a husband and have a traditional family. And it just didn't come together in time for me.
Do you regret that now, not having children?
Not particularly.
No.
No.
Do you get lonely?
No.
No. And so when you were beating a man, I guess you do more than just beat, but
Yeah.
when you were beating them down on the floor there, they're on their knees.
Yeah.
Do you feel sorry for them?
No.
Have you ever felt sorry for them?
No, because they're having the time of their life. Why would I feel sorry for them?
Because
They're in their element. I mean, they're living their authentic selves,
do you ever look in their eyes and think, this poor male?
No,
Really?
No,
Do you love men?
I do.
You don't have any resentment toward
No.
men at all?
I love men.
And why?
They're great. I mean, I guess I love men because they're simple, they're not as complicated as women. Their needs are very simple. What else do I love about men? They're handy. They can do things. They have physical strength. They can be used for manual labor, as a beast of burden or a workhorse. Men are very useful.
So if you love and respect them, how is it so easy to degrade them?
Well, degradation is not necessarily a part of S&M. It might seem like degradation to you or to someone outside looking in,
Right.
but that's not necessarily a part of it. Like for example, I have friends that are female submissives that like being dominated, and I don't feel sorry for them when they're being dominated. They're enjoying themselves.
So do you dominate females as well?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
So is it just all about sex?
No, as a matter of fact, one of the big components in an S&M relationship is chastity.
What does that mean?
Chastity, the man has to be chaste. He's not allowed to jerk off or have any kind of sex. You put them in a cock cage and you lock them up. Chastity.
It sounds funny, but it's sad. That
Well,
a
don't
human
you
being-
preach that men are not supposed to have sex before marriage?
Right, but they're not supposed to be locked away in a cage. They're not supposed to let some woman beat them.
Well,
they're not
if
sup-
they can't control themselves, why wouldn't you put them in a cage? They clearly can't control themselves. They're constantly masturbating and doing naughty things, and women have to correct them.
But that's what makes it sad, that they're in that condition where they will
Well, that's their problem.
allow a woman to treat them that way. Because there's no way that you can respect men and treat them that way. Even if they are weak, you can't treat them that way.
I don't really see slaves as weak. I think it takes a lot of courage and strength to submit to a woman, specifically because of all the social stigma put on them by people like you.
When you say social stigma, what do you mean?
Well, we live in a culture where it's not socially acceptable for men to be submissive to women. That's stigma, so that
It's
makes them
not-
feel shameful
Right, because it's
because
wrong.
of people like you.
It's wrong to be that way. It's evil for a man to submit to a woman, and especially to that, down to that that low. They shouldn't
Right.
do it, period.
Well,
Because
where
it's
in the
not-
Bible does it say that?
It's not in the woman's nature to lead. Women don't know how to lead.
No, Eve is, if you're a descendant of Eve, then you're going to have a submissive nature. But if you're a descendant of Lilith, you're going to have a dominant nature. And some of us are a little bit of both. And the way to reach, inner peace is to reconcile your Eve and your Lilith in a healthy way.
That's interesting. You founded the Den of Iniquity
Correct.
back in 1994.
Yes.
94. What is that?
The Den of Iniquity was my dungeon. Your viewers probably don't know what a dungeon is, but for sake of this conversation, a dungeon is a space where professional dominatrixes conduct their sessions and where the male slaves come to meet them. So I actually had a chain of dungeons. I had dungeons in New York, LA, and Phoenix. At one time, I managed 80 dominatrixes and 14,400 square feet of dungeon space. And to this date, no one has ever been able to do what I've accomplished in the industry
And why is that?
because I'm the best at what I do.
You are? What makes you the best? How did you become to be the best?
Well, I think I come from a long line of alpha females, but prior to my, years ago, people didn't know what that was. They didn't have the language to describe it. So, my mother dominated my father. My grandmother dominated, both of her husbands. My aunt dominated both of her husbands. It's just in my blood. I don't know what to tell you, Jesse. I love it.
I had no idea that was out there like that.
Yeah.
And that it was a part of a religion. I know that it's a form of religion in that it's not good, because we have both good and evil happening. But I had no idea it was part of a Jewish, any sector of the Jewish religion. I've never heard that before. That's amazing. Are you proud of that?
Yes.
You're proud to know that. When I see you at the airport, I say, "Whoa, that's the lady that beat men."
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Amazing. It's
Thank you.
amazing what's happening in the world.
Thank you.
A black man, you do it to black men too?
I do.
Are they difficult?
No, I mean, obviously, it's much more loaded, because of the history of slavery. The word slavery is a really loaded word. So sometimes, if you're, dominating a black man, you wouldn't use that word. You'd use, you'd maybe make them your pet. That's another way to, they can be your pet, your puppy. But some of them, are full on and, really want to, embrace the whole slavery thing. Not the old times, not the bad slavery.
Right. But you're slave.
My kind of slave. My kind of
And
slavery.
so what kinds of things do you say to them, to the men you're dominating? Can you give me an example of some of the words you say to them?
Oh, well, I expect men to speak when spoken to. I expect them to keep their eyes averted. They're not to look me in the eye. I only expect them to answer me, yes, mistress, no, mistress, and if it pleases you, mistress. If they have to express a thought, they should ask for permission to think first, and then they ask for permission to ask their question, and then I will respond.
That's amazing. You seemed, in talking to you right now, you seem to be kind of cold. And like, you don't see, unless you putting on, I know a lot of women put on an act of strength. They put on a demeanor as though they are strong,
Yeah.
but behind that, they're weak. Is that what you're doing right now?
Well, I would say that you were right in the first part. I am cold. That's correct.
Oh,
But I wouldn't say that I'm weak.
right. Do you have love?
Yes.
You have love within you?
Yes.
How can you be cold and have love?
It's just a demeanor. It's just a temperament. It doesn't mean that my heart is cold. It's just my temperament and the way that I conduct myself is just more towards the cool than the warm.
And so if you had a heart of love, how could you treat human beings that way?
How could I fulfill their deepest and wildest fantasies?
Right.
I don't know. I think I'm doing good work. I'm Mr. Rourke. I'm Fantasy Island, man. I make people's dreams come true.
But if you had love, you know that they're wrong. There's something wrong with them for wanting to be treated that way, right? You know something has to be wrong, right?
No, I know that it's what you believe, but it's not what I believe.
You don't believe that something is wrong when a human being is willing to stoop that low?
No, yeah, no.
Oh, I
I
see.
don't see it as stooping low. So I disagree with the format of the question.
Oh, I see. So why don't you see it that way?
Because I think when anyone is being their authentic selves, which is what you're being when you submit. When a man submits to me and he shows me his authentic self in all of its vulnerability and in all of its flaws and in all of its beauty, that to me shows that that man has an incredible amount of courage to open himself up to me like that.
But in reality, you know that man is in a fallen state, and he's not in his natural state of being.
Right, and I'm
as,
helping him to get into his natural state, which would be a female-led relationship.
But that's not. I know that to you, because of this other person, that I guess you believe that it's natural, but that's not natural. That's an unnatural state. That's an evil state to be in. A weak state. Is it?
That's why I named my dungeon Den of Iniquity. It was a biblical reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.